What is poppin' peeps? It is your boy Jet. Now, I know I usually do these Bleach videos 3 episodes at a time, but this is a Kenpachi Zaraki episode. I think it's fair to give him his own episode. Now, before this episode dropped, I kept hearing all of this talk about Kenpachi versus Gremmy. I go online and I see power scalers meet riding Gremmy. The hype was written all over the wall, and boy, does it have good penmanship, because this fight might be the best fight of 2023. But these Bleach Core 2 episodes get better and better. But let's lock in and let's get into this. So this episode starts off with Isane and Yachiro having to deal with this Houdini. Isane looking bad as fuck, and baby Zaraki is always a delight to see. So Houdini is in the middle of his introduction, and baby Zaraki just starts swinging on him. She's not even letting him finish talking, she swings on him on sight. And it doesn't even matter if Houdini is using a neuralizer on her, she still swings on him. Houdini is absolutely perplexed, like what's her problem? And it turns out that Yachiro thinks he looks like a creep, which, yeah, I can see that. Houdini is playing no more games and he tries to kill her from behind, but again, she swings on him. And it turns out that her shikai is basically the move double slap from Pokemon. But baby Zaraki lands a good attack on him and then proceeds to Fortnite dance on him. But that's cut short as my boy Gremmy is here. Yachiro tries to attack Gremmy, but he's like, no, now your bones are cookies. But hold on for a minute. Gremmy has the power to make his imagination reality. How did Gremmy lose this fight? But as I'm thinking that, Kenpachi shows up. Now I'm excited right now because Kenny is finally here. And when he shows up, he tells Isane that, yeah, I sent Unohana back to the Shadow Realm. And just like me, Gremmy was waiting for Kenpachi. So he sets a battlefield, a stage worthy for the fight of the two strongest. So Gremmy starts to explain his powers. He starts to say, hey, my power is imagination. That means anything I think of becomes reality. Kenpachi's not trying to hear none of that shit. Run the ones. He leaps at him and swings his sword, but it does nothing. It doesn't even leave a scratch on Gremmy. And that's because Gremmy made his body as strong as steel. And Kenpachi heard that, is like, oh, word? And cuts him anyways. He's like, hey, if your body was as hard as steel, I would have just cut as if I'm cutting steel. And just like how Kenpachi's built different, Gremmy's also built different. He's like, hey, bro, listen, I ain't no ordinary villain. I ain't gonna say something corny like, I'm gonna kill you with a single finger. Nah, I'm gonna use my big brain. And then he spawns lava out of thin air. But I guess Gremmy did not hear Kenpachi clearly because Kenny goes ahead and cuts through lava. How is that even possible? Gremmy tells Kenpachi that, hey, your child, her bones are currently made of cookies. And Kenpachi doesn't know what a fucking cookie is. So out of pure rage and confusion, he leaps towards Gremmy, trying to attack him, but Gremmy goes ahead and traps him in a water domain. Kenpachi sees that his child is in grave danger, and just like any good father, he dives after her to save her. And just like any reasonable father, he comes back fuming, ready to kill Gremmy, but Gremmy blocks it, and again, Kenpachi cuts through it. Gremmy, you have not learned your lesson yet. Make something out of vibranium. But hey, if Kenpachi ever retires from being a Soul Reaper, he has to become a coach or a motivational speaker because his ability to inspire his enemies is actually unreal. He motivated Ichigo so much that Ichigo came back from the dead and gained the power to become Kenpachi's equal. He inspired Noritora to become his equal, and now he's inspiring Gremmy. He's over here saying that, hey, you're the strongest Quincy. Why don't you have the urge to absolutely crush the strongest? Why don't you want to prove that you're stronger than the strongest? Gremmy has spent his entire life being so strong that nobody else will challenge him. Nobody will even dare trying to contest him because he is that strong. And now he is standing face to face with a real one who is willing to challenge him. And it excites Gremmy. It makes Gremmy want to crush him. For the first time in his life, Gremmy absolutely wants to annihilate his opposition to prove that he is the strongest. I am telling y'all, man, Kenpachi is the greatest motivational speaker of all time. You have your Irwins, your Communists, your David Goggins. Carry the boat? Not me. After this motivational speak, Gremmy pulls out his Shirak Jutsu and summons an artillery of guns and starts gunning down Kenpachi, but that shit is blocked easily. But hey, pause. Look at this shot right here. This is screensaver worthy. I mean, there's nothing real like special about it. It just looks badass. Like I can imagine this as an album cover. Gremmy throws out a bubble dome to protect himself, but again, Kenpachi cuts through it. But actually, it was a trap because to his right, he sees a giant hand of God ready to crush him. It gets Kenpachi, but again, Kenpachi cuts through it. Gremmy, why are you sleeping on him? Kenpachi is absolutely dog walking Gremmy. This man Gremmy is over here imagining himself losing. For the first time in his life, he might lose. But after a quick motivational speech by Kenpachi, Gremmy goes ahead and imagines himself already healed up. So Gremmy uses Shadow Clone Jutsu, and this got me thinking, Gremmy has the power of imagination. He can create life with his power. So that means that he could have imagined another Kenpachi to fight Kenpachi, which makes the result of this battle either really cool or really dumb. You decide. But Gremmy, still flexing his Naruto knowledge, summons a giant meteor on Madara type beat to crush everyone in the Serite, only leaving Gremmy alive. This man Gremmy wants to win so bad that he is willing to sacrifice his own team just to come out with a dub.
Now I gotta pull up. Everybody dying.
And Kenpachi looks up and sees this giant ball of destruction falling towards him and says to himself, ooh, I never cut one of those before. Like, what the fuck is bro's problem? Gremmy's over here like, there's nothing you can do about it. And Kenpachi's like, yeah, maybe for you, but not me, because I'm built different, and leaps towards the meteor. And as he's flying towards the meteor, Kenpachi releases his shikai and says, drink nozarashi, which confuses me, because his shikai allows him to cut anything. So wouldn't the release word be like slash or cut, not drink? I don't know, bro. And what proceeds to happen next is pure cinema. It is peak shonen. It is so phenomenal that the only way I can describe it is the greatest meteor cutting scene in all of anime. But hold on, it's not over yet, because then we get the hardest pick in all of Bleach with Kenpachi holding his big ass shikai. Look at that work of art. Look at it. Look at my goat Kenpachi. This whole part of the fight just gave me chills. Absolute cinema. Gremmy has to go plus ultra, and he summons even more shadow clones and then banishes Kenpachi to outer space. And even this deep into the fight, Gremmy is still sleeping on Kenpachi because somehow, some way, Kenpachi was able to cut through space and land a hit on Gremmy. So like, this man was able to cut through space. Where does that put him at far as power scaling? I'm just curious. But even though he got hit, Gremmy's not done fighting, because he then proceeds to become a suicide bomber.
I'm about to blow.
And even after that explosion, Kenpachi is still alive. Gremmy is perplexed. What the fuck is this dude? He is an absolute monster, and he thinks the only way you can beat Kenpachi is to fight fire with fire, and then he becomes as strong as Kenpachi. But his body falls apart due to it not being able to withstand Kenpachi's power, because Kenpachi's body is the only body that is able to contain this absolute monster power that he has. And just like that, the fight is over and Gremmy is sent back to Yuha. This fight was absolutely phenomenal. I absolutely loved it. The only bad thing about this fight is that it was too short. I low-key kind of wish they cut out the first bit of the fight and just extended this fight for the entire episode. Hell, even add in filler. I just wanted to see this fight go on for even longer. It was so great. It was amazing. It was honestly, I keep saying this in every video. I said the Renji episode was a 10 out of 10. I said the Rukia episode was a 10 out of 10. This episode was an 11 out of 10, bro. These episodes just keep getting better and better. And Bleach Core 2 is unarguably the best anime of 2023. Kenpachi versus Gremmy is the best fight of 2023. But what did you guys think of the episode? Did you like it? Did you have some flaws with it? Because honestly, I didn't see any flaws with it. But let me know down in the comments below. And while you're doing that, go ahead and smash that like button. It'll be very appreciated. And most importantly, Getsuga Tensho that subscribe button, and also share the video. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Deuces.